I know. Everybody's telling me we're a minute behind. He's telling me wait a minute. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sumner County Board of Education meeting of April the 17th, 16th, 17th, whatever it is. 16th. There it is, right there. We're about to start this meeting, but before we do, I'm going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag. Anyone who would like to join me, please feel free to do so. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance. Good evening, sir. Oh, that's all right. All righty, let's get going here. First bit, we've called it to order, and next item on the agenda is roll call. Mr. Johnson, I'm sure you have the roll. Next item on the agenda is adoption of regular agenda. Motion approved by Mr. Daniels, second by Ms. Andrews. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Next item on the agenda is adoption of consent agenda. Motion by Ms. Andrews, second by Mr. Daniels. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Next item on the agenda, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consideration of minutes of the March 19th regular meeting. Is there a motion? Motion approved by Ms. Bachman, second by Ms. Hayes. Discussion for Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the opportunity to speak very briefly on this. In looking at our minutes and what we put into our official record of the proceeds of those proceedings of those meetings, I realized that we have not always included the names of the persons who speak to us during the public address portion. And in that last meeting on March the 19th, my notes show that we had 5 speakers from the public, including Scott Waiteka, Jamison Stenzel, a 7th grader, Rachel Solier, Hadley Brown, and Nicole Vaughn, a 6th grader. And I just thought it might be appropriate to start getting in the habit of, when we hear from the public, to include that as part of our minutes. And so I'm proposing that as an amendment for consideration. Thank you.
Dr. Phillips.
We don't, I think that's been a record of practice of ours here, and we didn't we call Randall Bennett?
Yes.
With TSBA, and he said that you're not required to do that. And I think the practice of this board is to not do that over time. So that's the reason that we've never really kept who the speakers were for any agenda item or for the public comment section. So, and we had that question come up back after the zoning discussion, and we called Randall Bennett. JJ, you called Randall, talked to him with TSBA.
And Randall Bennett is the Vice President or General Counsel.
He's General Counsel for TSBA, yeah. And I think sometimes it comes up in training too, especially when folks that fill JJ's role go to training. And so that's just how we've always handled it.
I'm not suggesting that we should have a synopsis of the content. I just think it would be appropriate to say that the board received public comments from the following persons. So that's my request for consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Ms. Andrews.
Yes, I would just like to say I believe that technically probably the best procedural way to proceed with that would be to put that on a study session, because this is just checking the minutes to see. I know if you want to add those later, but I think with our current procedures, the way we have left them all, to change it now with an amendment would be irregular. Maybe it go through a study session, if that's something that, for the board to discuss, if that's something that we wanted to consider doing, but probably tonight would not be the most appropriate time to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Mr. Gregory.
This came up once before, And if I'm not mistaken, we had some speakers who requested that it not be included in the minutes. And another thing, I know this happened, that when we have speakers, we ask that they give their name and address. I know that this has become that was an issue at the time. Doesn't bother me, but it bothered some ladies for sure by standing up here and being, on TV and giving their name and address.
I believe how we handle this would be, approve the minutes of the meeting as they are, because that's our standard practice. And then we can add it to discussion item and talk about it, see what we do. So it's, as far as we're concerned, it's just a matter of writing down the names.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gregory, are you through? Mr. Gregory, are you through?
I am.
I'll come back to you in just a second. Let me kind of reel the board back in. We're not talking about that right now. We're discussing the March 19th meeting. So let's go ahead and get that cleared out. And if you'd like to put that on a study session or something and get it in the proper field, we'll be glad to discuss it at that time. That work? Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
The motion and the second is for discussion and or action regarding the minutes of the March 19th regular meeting. Is there any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is recognition of hearing of delegations. And I think Ms. Bachman is going to come down and take care of some things for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will ask Colonel Overby and Sergeant Harville to escort Christian Smith up here, please, if they will. While they're making their way up here, this young man came to my attention not too long ago, and I felt that it was very appropriate to recognize his efforts. I know all of our high school students graduate and with different things in mind. They want to go on to college. Some get scholarships. Some receive other help and designations. Others go to work. Some go to the military. Some apply to the academies. This young man received 4 appointments to every service academy that we have, and that is unheard of. So I just want to bring him to us, and Sergeant Harville and Colonel Overby, if you would come forward, please, and give us a little bit of information about this young man here, Lieutenant Colonel Cadet Smith, or is it Cadet? Yeah, Christian Smith. Yeah. Okay.
So, Master Sergeant Harville and myself, it's our mission to motivate young people to be better citizens, and so it's a pleasure to be able to recognize Christian tonight at this ceremony. As we all know, it doesn't come alone. His parents, John and Cindy Smith, are here with him to congratulate him in this process. And it takes a family, and we've had him for 4 years, and just to have the opportunity to recognize him and his service in the community, his academic excellence in the classroom, teamwork with his fellow cadets is commendable, and so it's a pleasure to be able to recognize him.
I agree with Colonel Overby. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with Christian and to see him come in as a freshman, young man, and then to see him now to receive this honor of all the military academies. And I look forward to seeing what he's doing in the future. And our whole mission, like Colonel said, is to motivate young people to be better citizens. It is a cadet-led program. These cadets are leading the program. And he's done a fine job applying to them, to the military academies, and I'm proud of you. Thank you, sir.
All right, so I've always been recognized myself for applying to the other academies, and I think it's time, I gave recognition to other people. As they said, our mission in JRTC is to motivate young people to be better citizens. And when I joined JRTC in my freshman year, I kind of joined because I really didn't have another class to take. So I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. So I joined. Wasn't very motivated, but I can tell you within the first couple of weeks I was. They got me motivated real quick. But it was really all thanks to them that I got interested in West Point. I had a battalion commander my freshman year who went to West Point, Joshua Couch. I don't know if any of you know him, but he's a great friend of mine. He got me interested in West Point, and then I kind of branched out and started looking at the other branches. And I applied to all the academies. I was like, I'm hoping to get into one. And I was kind of really happy to see that I got into all 5. But for those of you that don't know, I accepted the Coast Guard Academy. So I'm sorry if that disappoints some of you, but I know Army JRTC, but it was my decision to go to the Coast Guard Academy because of the mission afterwards, the retention rate, humanitarian aspect and focus and everything else in there. But again, these two very, very nice gentlemen behind me have been great role models to me in the past 4 years, and I've loved looking up to them. And every time I might have gotten a little bit off path on my leadership, they kind of poke me and say, hey, go this way, come on. But they'd help me back on track, and it was really great to be able to spend my 4 years in JRTC with them. And honestly, if I could go back and pick a different class or pick any kind of class my freshman year, I would have kept JRTC, and these 4 years have definitely changed me for the better. So thank you.
It's very well deserved. Christian, would you like to join me here, please? It's presented by the Sumner County Board of Education to Christian Smith, presented Tuesday, April 16, 2019, in recognition of your service in the Station Camp High School JROTC, the leadership you have shown while serving as Deputy Commander in the Bison Battalion, and the excellence you have demonstrated both in the classroom and through volunteering in your community. Thank you for representing Station Camp High School and Sumner County Schools with class and pride. Signed, Del R. Phillips, the 3rd Director of Schools, and myself, Alice Bachman, as your school board director. Yeah. Congratulations to you. And I would like to recognize, if his parents would stand and join me up here, and we'll have a photo op.
That's fantastic. Thank you, sir, for your service. All righty, moving on. We have some more folks to honor tonight, and Mr. Langford's going to take over from here. Mr. Langford.
Oh, no, you come on down, Sage. You do it.
Yes, please.
Come on down.
I would love.
Well, come on down with me. We'll do
I
it.
came up here to visit with these guys.
Come on, we'll do it together. You don't want to be hanging out with Mr. Gregory too much. We'd like to have at this time, we'd like to honor, we have 4 students that we want to honor. 2 are here tonight. If we could get Mr. Nilab Saxena and Benjamin Perry to come up. And we've had 4 students recently from Sumner County, Nilab, Benjamin, Luke, and Dane. Nilab is at Hendersonville High School. What grade are you in? Junior. And Benjamin, what grade are you in? Junior. And then we have also Luke Martin and Dane McBee. They've all scored a 36 on the ACT this year. So to give you a little context, there were over 1.9 million ACTs given last year. There were 3,741 perfect scores, so 0.2%. So they're in the top 0.2% in the country. Mr. Brewer, being an Alabama fan, if you have a 36 on the ACT, you automatically qualify for about a $145,000 scholarship, which is wonderful for parents to know that college is going to be free for them. Gentlemen, would you like to say something? Okay.
I didn't really have a speech prepared, I guess, but I guess I can give a few thanks. I know they're not here, but I give a lot of thanks to all my amazing teachers, that provided a pathway for me to get a 36 on the ACT. When I took it about a year ago, and I got the scores back, I was sort of taken aback. I was like, did I really do that? And I didn't expect, to do it on my first try, and I was just really, really astounded. But so thank you to the teachers, and also I'd like to give a big shout out to my parents for putting up with me for 12 years, and really inspiring me to keep challenging myself and go for a perfect score. So that's just all I would like to say. But yeah, thank you.
So I guess first I would like to thank my teachers. Miss Watts is over here. She's my English teacher. I've known her since my freshman year, and she's been great. And then Mr. Cotter, my principal, is also here. And if Miss Cotter was here, I would also thank her, but she is. Oh, there she is. Hi. I would not have been able to do any of the math section of the ACT if it wasn't for you, so thank you. And also, thank you to my wonderful parents over there for pushing me for like 16 years of my life. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. And see, when I got the 36 in the ACT, I did it at the school ACT, the one that was free. And so I just it wasn't too serious. Like, the proctor didn't even write the times up on the board, so I couldn't pace myself correctly. So I still can't comprehend what happened. It was like a mixture of luck and skill, so I don't really know. Thank you.
We could have the parents come up. We're going to get some pictures.
Bob, y'all come on up. Parents, come on up.
Teachers, y'all come on up.
Jeremy did it to me. I don't know why I came up there. Great job, guys.
And before everyone leaves, Mr. Wise has instructed me to let everyone know that these nice flowers up here in the front is from Mr. Cotter's greenhouse at Hendersonville High School.
And he assured me mine is not poison ivy.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, that's a gift from the FFA, the Ag Department at Hendersonville High School. I was coming tonight, so I thought, hey, let's have a little representation of what we opened last weekend. Come out. We're open for business until we sell out, so come on out.
Good deal.
Yes.
And I'm glad to hear that Mr. Wise's is not poison ivy over there. So. All right, next item on the agenda is matters involving council. We don't have any. I don't see any council here, so moving right along from that. Next item on the agenda is reports from the director, Dr. Phillips.
Just a couple of things that are all date oriented. May the 7th, retiree reception before the study session. I think all of you have had an invitation, but I wanted to remind you of that so you can mark it down, okay? Retiree reception before the board meeting on May the 7th, just like we always do it. I probably, if we stick to what schedule we've had in the past several years, probably will look at having a special call if you guys are okay with it for May the 14th. Budget presentation on May the 14th. I don't know. We haven't decided. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. That's going to be a Tuesday. That's typically what we've done. You know, the last several years we had study session and then we had a meeting right behind that, and then we have the board vote on the budget at that meeting, the regular scheduled meeting. So if we stick to that, then that would be May 14th, possibly a study session at some point on the 14th. And then the next week would be the 21st is the regular meeting. We'd vote on the budget, and then I'll carry it over to the county. And then when they want me to present it at the county in June, early June, then we'll do that. Just kind of giving you a heads up that we may try to do that budget meeting, okay? Okay. No, okay. We'll look at it and see, and we'll have JJ. We're still a good distance out from that, but we'll have JJ kind of talk to you guys and see what may be a conflict or may not. Yeah, that's correct. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's exactly the way we did it last year and the year before. I think works out pretty well to get it done before the end of school. Lets me have June to go over to the county, and hopefully plenty of time to have them work it out. Oh, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Next item on the agenda is new business, discussion and interaction regarding naming Station Camp High School's field house the Kyle Cannon Field House. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Hawkins, second by Mr. Wise. Discussion, Ms. Bachman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to recognize Kyle's parents, please. If you please stand and let us recognize you. Thank you so much for coming this evening. And also, Coach Holly, thank you for being here as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. Mr. Wise.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cannon and I go back quite a ways. Mr. Cannon's parents used to live across the road from me. Fantastic people. And I just want to say his grandfather would be mighty proud. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Hawkins.
On behalf of the board, I want to say how proud we were to hear the excellent presentation about your son that was given by Coach Hollingsworth and Principal Crook. It is rare to have that sort of leadership and service, and his memory, I think, will be very fittingly honored by naming this field house. It'll also be an example to wave after wave of up-and-coming young men and possible future leaders and servants. Thank you all for being willing to support this naming.
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discussion and interaction regarding a revision to policy IDFAB outdoor activities upon first reading. Motion approved by Mr. Daniels, second by Ms. Andrews, I believe. Discussion. Seeing any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discussion and interaction regarding a revision to policy GBRH, leaves of absence upon first reading. Motion to approve by Mr. Wise, second by Ms. Bachman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business, discussion and interaction regarding amendments to the general purpose budget. Motion approved by Mr. Daniels, second by Mr. Wise. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discussion and interaction regarding amendments to the federal budget. Is there a motion? Motion approved by Ms. Bachman, second by Ms. Hayes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, discussion of study session items. Mr. Jim.
I would like to just add one thing for discussion, just to see what comes out of it, and that's fourth block. Thank you.
And Mr. Hawkins, is this where you'd like to add your?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to request that we consider having identification of public speakers added to the minutes, and I'd be interested in hearing the pros and cons from my fellow board members on that. Thank you.
Got that. Anybody else? Seeing none, and as always, if you have to think of anything in between now and then, you can contact JJ or Dr. Phillips' office, my office, and we'll work with you on that. Next item on the agenda is discussion from board members. Item number 1, discussion interaction regarding the director's contract extension. We'll be discussing that on the next meeting, I believe.
May 21st.
May 21st meeting. And as it's usual and customary that we appoint someone to negotiate with him on that. Without objection, I'll appoint Mr. Wise if he's willing to take that position.
I'll do it, sir.
And he'll come back with a report to us and.
I'll be hard on it.
Yeah, be hard on him, beat him up and all that kind of stuff, so.
We usually take a vote just to formalize that y'all are gonna ask him to do it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Just so the minutes show it.
So.
I second the nomination.
Okay, nomination been seconded, and all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. You have the job.
It's gonna be tough. I'm getting ready.
Oh, my God, thank you.
I think he's got his sledgehammer in
For
the
those
front
of
his
you
car.
that don't know, this is, there's some things in code and then there's some things in board policy. The things in code basically say if it's not close to an election, 45 days before or 30 days after an election, then what you do is you have to notice it at least 15 days before the board considers the contract. So what we've typically done here on the extensions, what we've done is we've just did like Mr. Brewer, we put it on the agenda, we vote to appoint the negotiator, and that serves as the 15-day notice because this is a publicly announced meeting. So you're more than 15 days out before you ever consider it to start with. Does that make sense? And then it'll be back a month from now on the May agenda. Just so you know, that's the way you comply with the law. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Item number 2, comments from board members. Ms. Hayes, would you like to start?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman Brewer. Lift this up. I am going to mention one thing. There's so many great things going on. This is a busy, busy time of year at school, isn't it? Mm-hmm. We could be doing something every night at the schools in our districts and across the county. But Mary flew. It was a phenomenal performance. And I tell you, these kids work so hard. You all know that in the theater productions. It's unbelievable, the talent. The chimney sweeps, the tap dance, they were phenomenal. And then I just want to wish you guys a blessed Easter, and I'm just grateful to serve on this board.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Ms. Bachman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the opportunity to have a sneak peek at Whitten's. We've not seen yet. I went to the PTO meeting a couple of weeks ago, and Ms. Roach gave me a personal tour with my granddaughter, and you are going to be so proud of what they've done at Whitten, and be glad when all the dirt mounds are gone out there. And as far as the productions from the theater department, I went to Station Camp's Heathers, which is a very unusual play to have done, but I want to give Mr. Annetti kudos for having it done in a very appropriate and meaningful way that the students understood some of the social issues that we have. Looking forward to the Special Olympics on the 26th. And for those of you, I don't know if any of you signed up to do the TSBA, the BEP webinar, but I have the information. Ben emailed it to me afterwards, and I'll be glad to forward it to you if any of you are interested. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. Ms. Andrews.
Yes. 'tis the season, was able to go and enjoy Mamma Mia at Beach High School, and it was super fun. I took my daughter who loves Mamma Mia, so that was a great night for us, and they did a great job. It's always interesting to see how these kids pull these productions together. They're just so fun, and you get to see their little personalities come out. So that was lots of fun. And I appreciate Mr. Cotter bringing the flowers today. That was super sweet of him to do. I will also plug, though, that Beach High School is also having their plant sale. It is weekdays 9 to 3 and Saturday, I think, 8 to 4, 8 to noon, something like that. All of our schools do a great job with their greenhouses, and so if you're able to support them, I will tell you that the best tomato plants we ever purchased were from Beach High School FFA. So if you grow a garden, go support local schools.
You guys do know that that's why I asked Mr. Cotter that, because in the last 4 years, we've replaced or added a new greenhouse at every high school.
Yeah, Beaches is very nice.
Like we do everything, we methodically went through. Ones that didn't get it the first year were patient, and they got, so now we have new greenhouses at all of them. So it helps our STEM and our ag programs. Sorry.
That's all right. Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Mr. Duncan.
Miss Andrews stole my thunder anyway. I was just gonna tell you about Beach's sale for their plants, and that's all I really had, so I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Hawkins.
I will pass for the mayor comment. I always enjoy hearing from the fellow board members.
Alrighty then. Mr. Andrews, you know who you are.
Yeah, I think I remember sometimes. Yeah, it depends on the day and the evening. So I do want to take a second, since we're talking about performance. Gallatin High School put on The Little Mermaid. It was a phenomenal production. And so that was great. The kids did a wonderful job. And the other big thing that happened to Gallatin High School is our girls have a softball field. They opened up the Lady Wave softball complex. I think we're still working on roofs on the dugout, so we don't play when it's wet, but they're working on getting it finished up. The weather was a little rough and kind of put us behind schedule a little bit, but the field looks great. All the everybody that's worked on it, from our staff to the individuals that put that field together. It's a great place, and our girls are going to love having a field on their campus that they can play on. It's going to be great. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Mr. Wise.
I believe this is what week in our schools? What are we doing? I think we're testing. And so I just want us to think about those children who are actually taking those tests, those faculty members and principals and assistant principals who are administering those tests. And our thoughts and prayers need to be with those children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wise. Ms. Brown?
I need to inappropriately ask Ms. Bachman about Special Olympics 26. What time?
Nine 45.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that. No, we didn't get it. It was in our box. Oh.
Rain days, May the 10th is a rain day.
I think they ran out halfway through.
Oh, they got you over there. 9:45 on what day? April 26th.
At Station Camp High School.
Looks like this. I'll give you mine.
Oh, I got it written down. But it's really a fun thing to go to and watch them. They're so proud and they really enjoy it. So it really is a nice day well spent. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention and I've forgotten what it is, so that take care of it.
We always pray for good weather on Special Olympics.
Yes.
Man.
We're backing up to Mr. Wise.
I just wanted to mention there will be a written exam next month on this book.
Okay.
Front and back.
Mr. Gregory.
If you've had the opportunity to look in our folder here, the message from Miss Schreiner and Miss Hunter over to Middle College about a student and the recognition that they have earned. I believe that student's from Portland High School too. I just want to throw that in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. Mr. Wilkerson.
Just everyone have a safe holiday.
That's it?
That's it.
Short and sweet.
Oh, my thing was Happy Easter.
It's a good way to end it.
Well, I had 2 requests to get out of here really early, and I've got about 15 minutes that I'd like to speak on, but I'll pass it. So I'll pass my 15-minute speech, and we are adjourned.